Well, I do want to say, first of all, that with reference to our local athletes who are competing here at the Island Games, that in totality they all were tested prior to competition. With reference to the Island Games itself, it is correct that Basada and our DCOs, our doping control officers, have not done any testing, conducted any testing at the Island Games. The Island Games organizing committee, actually the honorary medical officer, is the individual who can decide where, when, and how many tests are to be conducted at the event because they are the event organizers. I would have loved to be able to test at the event, but that decision was made with the Island Games committee. And the reason why I say that it would have been great for us to test is because even if we take out of the equation all of the athletes worldwide that have committed doping violations and the like, I think Bermuda as a country is committed to clean sport. And I think that, and I know that this would have definitely been the way that we should have done testing on the Island Games. Now, it could have been an issue with the budgets for their side. I'm not sure what the issue was, but when I look at the level of competition, I don't think that that should warrant less testing in any environment. I think more of clean sport, dedication to the integrity of the sport is key and paramount in all of us doing our portion and our part in the testing environment, and also just keeping sport in general clean. So while I would have loved to have tested there, it was not meant for us to be testing, but I do hope that if the Island Games returns to Bermuda, that consideration is seriously given. We did have an option of then going to WADA to get permission to test our athletes, but at the same time, our athletes have already been tested. So it really would have been monies that have already been spent. I know that testing is very expensive, and running a meet, international competition, is not a inexpensive event to put on. However, I do think that it would have been very good for Bermuda and for sport and for the competition that we had conducted testing, especially for the individuals who broke records at the Island Games.
Well, as you probably already know, the Prime Minister of Jamaica is requesting to have doping testing done in the high schools. What do you think Bermuda will follow, or do you think it's something that we can do in Bermuda to assure that the youngsters are educated before they get into that national level?
Well, first of all, I will say that I do applaud Jamaica for taking the direction of testing athletes in high schools. I think that when we look at sport in general, and in this trying time, this economic time, the dollar has a lot to do with the desire to compete hard and to represent well, even for themselves. And I know that Jamaica is dealing with a lot of issues now with their 5 athletes and even some in the past that have tested positive. I do think that testing in the high schools is a good idea, but I think also to the criteria levels of competition, the ability and the risk assessment associated with those particular sports disciplines also do need to be looked at. And so, that could be a very touchy subject for a lot of parents. But I think here in Bermuda, we, as committed as we are to clean sport, we all have to do our due diligence to ensure then that is done to the best of our ability. And so, with Jamaica's lead, I think that a lot of other countries, we will probably look at the youth being tested because that's where the vulnerability really is. And also with the education piece, that is a definitely key component because a lot of times we are not aware of even the little items or the medicines on the shelves that really are detrimental to our health. Number one, that can test positive for a banned substance or specified substance and the like. And so this is a good move and a good direction to be in right now. I think that we should also be able to look and assess our situation locally because we are not in the same position as Jamaica is when it comes to our elite athletes being tested positive. And also our young athletes within the performance enhancement area. So I would like for us to continue educating our youth into the area of supplements, which seems to be a very, very difficult area right now that many athletes are coming in contact with as they are testing positive. And so I firstly would like for our sports programs to be ramped up even more so that we add much more integrity to our sport and we set the standard for our country.